Bonjour les parents, je m'appelle Ina Etnovo. Présentons l'exposition de la classe de CM2. Prenez plaisir.
Hello TIS community, my name is Sybil and welcome to our first PYP exhibition. It's going to be an exciting learning path. We are going to see some amazing projects and interesting presentations. But before we get into that, please allow me to invite our teacher, Mr. Xavier, to say some few words.
Hello, my name is Xavier Yevugan, the homeroom teacher for Ruby Grade 5 and 6. And I must say I'm so excited for the achievement of my students throughout the exhibition. Exhibition is a time which marks the end of the primary years program, as well as a time where students inquire into problems of personal interest and then passion. And they are assisted with mentors to be able to do this. I must say that the exhibition is a very challenging time in the life of our students because they are required to use skills they've gathered over the years to be able to take responsible action to help our world. And they have been able to do this, and we are going to witness some amazing projects and presentations which they'll be giving us in a short while. Permit me to liken the story of the exhibition to the life of a butterfly. We know the butterfly goes through the egg, the larva stage, and the pupa stage. And from the pupa to becoming a butterfly is very critical. Here, for if the butterfly is not able to force its way out of the cocoon and gain strength in its wings, it wouldn't be able to fly. And this is where the students have found themselves. If they are not being able to go through the challenges of the rigorous nature of the program and be able to come up with projects like this, then it means that they are not fit for the next level. But here, I am glad to say that our students have been able to do this. This means that they are ready to soar higher to the next level of their education. Throughout the struggle, our students have gained skills necessary for future and higher learning. They've been able to acquire skills to research, skills of collaboration, thinking skills, and ability to be able to communicate their ideas to the outside world. So we are proud that our students in this process have also been able to exemplify the attributes of the learner profile. And I can confidently say that they are ready for the next level of the education. Let me say that again, that I'm very proud of you for what you've been able to achieve, each and every one of you. Thank you.
Welcome to the best primary school in Ghana. I call it and describe it as the best primary school for three different reasons. First of all, the best facilities. Secondly, we have the best staff. And thirdly, we've got the best program, the primary years program. Included in the staff, we've also got the best PYP coordinator, Mr. Jacob Lamumba, who's led this school through to the stage of authorisation, which was our highlight at the end of first semester. And now we have and present to you the primary exhibition, the culmination of the learner's journey in the primary schools in the primary years program. What we offer here is a most authentic experience, and it's the best experience that primary students can enjoy. Today I invite you to witness our inaugural PYP exhibition with our graduation class of 2021. Our inaugural class who is graduating will let you witness their incredible learning journey that you'll now see inside, along with our visual arts exhibition. Please enjoy.
I am Ntando Draco. I will talk about Earth's changes and how they affect us. The Earth, our home. The central idea for this presentation is changes in the Earth and its atmosphere influence the way people live their lives. The lines of inquiry, which the first one says how different components of the Earth are interrelated. First of all, the different components of the Earth, particularly the Earth spheres, are the biosphere, which is all the life on Earth, like me and you, all human beings and plants and living organisms. The lithosphere, which is the Earth's crust, which is what we're standing on and is what's necessary for the biosphere and all plant life to live. The atmosphere is all the air around us, and it helps us to breathe and helps in many ways by cooling down the Earth. The hydrosphere is all the water in Earth, salt and fresh water included. Now, all this is very beautiful, but we also affect it in some way. So one way we affect it is through factory waste. Factory waste is things like greenhouse gases entering the atmosphere. These greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, and this one is something that we breathe out, but breathing out carbon dioxide doesn't necessarily affect the Earth, but large quantities of it from burning fossil fuels can actually affect the Earth and make the Earth a lot warmer than it has to be. There was already a natural way for it to be emitted into the air, and that was through volcanic eruptions, like I'm going to show you right now. So this experiment is something that I learned in school, and it's called the Coca-Cola experiment. First of all, we're gonna put in all the Coke. Whoa, that's not it. But what it is we're gonna pop in at least just one Mentos. Just what? Wait, it's not safe enough yet. Wait, adding a bit more, and wait. So we just gonna add in. Wait, it's not working. Oh no. It's not working. Sadly, we're gonna have to move on. That was actually gonna be something very fun, but it showed you a little bit of what it was supposed to do. But volcanic eruptions can cause major damage and damage ecosystems, but it's a natural way which we can't really do much about, but the aftermath is something we can do about, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. Other actions that can affect the Earth are things like smoking, littering, and deforestation. Smoking, we already know, is something very bad for your lungs and the atmosphere itself. It's bad for your lungs and can cause diseases, which I'm going to talk about later on. Littering is something that can damage the hydrosphere as well as the lithosphere. It can damage ocean life. If you put plastic on the floor, the wind will carry it away somewhere far away, and it's not going to be in the place where it's supposed to be. So it's best to throw away your litter in a trash can. Otherwise, the litter might end up in a turtle's stomach, and it's gonna cause a lot of damage. So, deforestation. But before I tell you that, here's a fun fact. Did you know trees improve soil and water conservation? So if you were to cut down a tree, you would cause erosion. And erosion is when soil particles are broken down, and it's not supposed to do that because that erosion happens on the topsoil, and the topsoil is what provides enough nutrients for plants to grow. And if that is removed, we won't have plants, meaning we won't have air, and there would be too much carbon dioxide, and we would eventually die. So all this causes something called climate change. Climate change is the change in an area, the change in the climate in a certain area.
So it causes diseases. Diseases like malaria, skin cancer, and asthma are going to be made more common. So malaria is a disease which is carried by malaria mosquitoes. These mosquitoes, if they ever bite you, they could be carrying the disease with them, and it could enter your bloodstream, and it can deal a lot of damage to you. We won't be able, the only way that you would know that the mosquito carried malaria is if you were actually to get tested. And yeah, by then there wouldn't be much to do. The treatment is actually expensive, so yeah, it's best to prevent it rather than curing it. Skin cancer is something else that can harm you. Well, a lot of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases depletes the ozone layer, and after depleting the ozone layer, it lets a lot more heat into the earth, and this can cause skin cells to multiply when skin cells are actually supposed to die out. This causes skin cancer, and it can become much more common if we continue to litter and we continue to release greenhouse gases into the air by burning things that we're not supposed to. Asthma, it's not necessarily caused by climate change, but in the process where climate change has to happen. Like as I stated here with the smoke enters your lungs, and a lot of mucus is produced in your alveoli. The alveoli's job, which is in the respiratory system, helps to remove carbon dioxide from your body and put in oxygen in your body. So too much mucus won't let enough carbon dioxide out and won't let enough oxygen in. That happens when you have an asthmatic attack, and it can kill people. Climate change also causes a rise in sea level by melting glaciers. Countries near the coastline, near a coast, are in a lot of danger. And if you're near the coast but you're a landlocked country, you're still in danger depending on how big that flood is going to be. So I talked about ozone layer in the ozone layer depletion, and I'm going to focus more into it. But first of all, what on earth is the ozone layer? Well, the ozone layer is a thin layer of gas which protects us from the sun's rays. Alongside the greenhouse gases which are naturally emitted, the greenhouse gases help warm up the earth just at the right temperature, but too much can cause the ozone layer to deplete. Well, but it can actually repair itself. It's undergoing self-repairment right now. But how can we help? Well, don't use your car a lot, because your car burns fuels for it to move. And if it moves long distances or unnecessarily short distances, it's going to emit a lot of gases. So don't take your car to a local shop. That is not good. Don't use harmful cleaning products, because these can harm the ocean. And don't even think of burning them either, because that is not safe at all. Discard of old appliances, because old appliances are not good to use and they can cause a lot of damage, like causing fires if a wire is exposed to anything that might trigger a fire. Buy more local products, because that way you won't need to take your car anywhere, and it's much safer for the environment. So I spoke about how we can help, so I'm going to focus a bit more on that. So don't use a lot of water. This is how we can save the earth, because the earth is made mostly up of water, and only 3% of it is drinkable. So out of all that water, only 3% of it is drinkable. So we have to use it sparingly. Whereas we're not really doing that, actually, because if you throw out water or you take long showers, then that's going to waste too much water. And if there's a leaking faucet or tap, call someone to get it repaired, because if that is not repaired, then it can waste a ton of water, even in just a day. If you were to put a bottle, probably by the end of the day you might have it filled. Don't use your car a lot. I stated this before, and instead of using your cars, you could go biking on short distances, or you could go jogging. Cut down on plastic. If you're going to use a plastic bag for shopping, make sure you use it over and over instead of just throwing it away, because these plastics end up in landfills, and if they end up in landfills, then it's gonna cause, the ground has to be eroded for the plastic to go into the landfill and covered up with soil. But still, the remaining soil would either wash away or blown away by the wind. So use less disposable bottles, as I said, because it also ends up in landfills. And make some compost instead of throwing away your apple peels or potato peels or carrot peels. You can even use tea bags for this, because this is a natural fertilizer and it's much safer than any other fertilizer like man-made fertilizers, because the man-made fertilizers damages underground water, contaminates underground water, and if it's contaminated, then we won't have much water to drink. So moving on to changes in the earth that I've listed. It's getting warmer, as I've said, due to climate change. The sea levels are rising and the ozone layer is depleting. So here's my reflection in the process of making all this. Oh, before I get to that, here's another thing. Have you ever imagined what a city or a small community that uses cleaner sources of energy would look like? Well, here is one right here. Here it uses solar panels and dams as energy sources, and there aren't many people living in it, and there's a small workplace and some grass here to help for oxygen. So my reflection in making all of this that you see around me, I was open-minded. I was open to new ideas in making all this. I had spaces left out. I did not know what to do. So I decided to add pictures to make it more interesting and to fill up some spaces. I was knowledgeable. I gained a ton of knowledge throughout this whole process. And I was caring. I was working to change the world for the better, making sure that I carry out a message to everyone out there. Reflective, I worked with feedback. So anything that I did wrong, I made sure to make progress with it and become much better. My ATL skills were, I was a thinker. I was being creative with everything that I could do. The paper mache is what I used for the grass over there, and I was self-management. I had to keep my workspace clean, because if not, then I would not know where I would have to put everything, and it would be very messy. Another ATL skill that I had was communication. I exchanged ideas with other students so that they could help improve in what they did. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Manuel Bulabi. Welcome to my exhibition. In my exhibition, I'll be studying on the changes of the earth. This is my central idea. Forces cause a continuous process of change. So these are the forces that cause the continuous process of change: volcanoes and earthquakes, and even lightning too. It is changing the earth because it increases the earth's temperature. It destroys homes and other things, and it increases climate change. Earthquakes. How is it changing the earth? It destroys homes, malls, buildings, roads, and kills people. This is a way to save yourself or to protect your life. You must hide under a desk if in school. If at home, look for an open area. If outside, stay away from trees, buildings, and other things. So you must stay in an open area. And these are some questions you may be asking. Why is Earth changing? What are the properties of the Earth? How human actions affect the Earth? What is global warming? Why we should stop polluting the Earth? What actions can we take to protect the Earth? Global warming is also one thing that is changing the Earth, because it increases the Earth's temperature that makes us sweat a lot. So when you sweat too much means the greenhouse gases has increased. So like the temperature of the earth has increased. So you sweat a lot. Why we should stop polluting the earth? We should stop polluting the earth because it destroys the earth, increases the earth's temperature, and kills people and living things, even trees. What actions can we take to protect the earth? These are these are the three things we can do to protect the earth. Pollution must be stopped, deforestation must be stopped, air pollution must be stopped. Why does air pollution have to be stopped? It must be stopped to stop greenhouse gases, to save our earth and to save lives, because air pollution is made up of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide and any other harmful gas to us except from oxygen. Stop deforestation. It must be stopped to save the homes of animals. It must be stopped to save the animals too. It must be stopped to save the minerals the trees contain. Why pollution must be stopped? It must be stopped to save our seas and oceans, because it doesn't only stay as pollution, it changes from pollution to water pollution. That's why we should save. That's why it must be stopped to save our seas and oceans. It must be stopped to stop climate. It must be stopped to save a life, because when it rains, it flows to the beaches and it flows to our oceans and seas, and after we drink it or do anything with it, we can fall ill that may kill us or kill any creature like cows, goats, and other things. And what happens to the earth if you keep polluting it? And this is a story of what the man-made changes, and it's like how we are changing the earth. We are changing the earth because carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide comes from our factories, homes, and other places. As you can see, this stick man is enjoying whilst polluting. That kills our fishes and other sea creatures. Deforestation. Deforestation must be stopped, and one way to stop it, as we cut, we must plant more. And this is also another way we are increasing the rate of air pollution. Comes from our cars too. And this shows where pollution also ends at. So from land pollution to water pollution. Types of pollution. Air pollution. Air pollution is air pollution. Air pollution contains carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide that kills us. That is it. That are the effects. Global warming. Global warming is also known as climate change. It comes from our cars, homes, factories, and it also comes from power plants that burn fossil fuels such as oil, coal, natural gas, and gasoline. This is the reference for this information. And how human actions affect the earth. Our actions that doesn't only change the earth to a bad way, but it can also save the earth. It can save the earth because, and how does it save the earth? Because Actions cannot only destroy the earth but save the earth, because we can save the earth right now. And the way to do it is to plant trees, pick all the trash around, increase the rate of solar panels for factories and homes. And if we don't stop all this, one day you may see your dog dead, you see all the trees cut down. When lightning strikes, it will burn our grass lands, forests and other biomes, and it also changed the earth. This is how our earth will look like if we don't stop all this, and if we can stop it, this is how our earth would look like. And that's why it says stop pollution, save the earth. My partner and I have a rap for you.
Notre planète Terre, la terre qui faisons nous à notre precious planète. La diversité facteur, la pollution facteur, la dégradation de l'environnement. Et si et la mer colle, nous tient la terre. Faisons un effort pour sauver la terre. Pour sauver la terre, pour sauver la terre. Pour sauver la terre, pour sauver la terre. Dégradation de l'environnement.
Hello, my name is John Israel and I'm Upeko, and today I'll be telling you more about energy. So, what is energy? Energy is the ability to do work. We have many types of energy. We have mechanical energy, electrical energy, thermal energy, etc. Mechanical energy is an object due to its motion and position. For example, when I bring it here, it's maximum potential energy, then it's transforming to kinetic energy, then it goes back to maximum potential energy. So some examples of bow and arrow is an example of mechanical energy. So when the arrow is being drawn back, it uses elastic potential energy. So when it is released, it transforms to kinetic energy. Bicycle is also an example of mechanical energy. Whilst riding a bike, it requires force on the paddles, so we are able to move. Then the formula of potential energy equals mgh. M is mass, which is the object's weight. Gravity and height works together, because if there's no height, the gravity doesn't work. So when I come here, this is the mass, then transform it to kinetic energy. So the gravity also takes place and the height also takes place. Then it continues like that. So thermal energy. What is thermal energy? Thermal energy refers to the energy. Thermal energy simply is heat energy. When I light a candle or when I light a stove, and you put your hand there, it will burn. So some examples of thermal energy are when we are cooking, when we are baking, when we are drying, then when we are heating something. So we can preserve the thermal energy in many ways. Whilst we are done cooking, we can turn it off, because if it's on for a long time, it can either explode or you can just waste it. Then I'm moving, and some examples of thermal energy are oven, microwave, toaster, and kettle. Now let's move on to the electrical energy. Electrical energy is a form of energy which consists of a flow of electrical charge. Some uses of electrical energy are washing clothes, lighting the home, using your laptop, watching television, coffee maker, and exercise. So we use electrical energy in different ways, and what I mentioned are some of them. Then preservation of electrical energy. How do we preserve or save energy? We can turn off unnecessary lights when we leave the house or the room. We can also we need to use natural lights often, so that we can bring down the electrical energy, so we can save more money. And we also need to turn off air conditioners when we are going somewhere out, when we are going to eat, or when we are going to play. Then unplug and use electrons. When you are done charging it, you don't need to leave it on, because you are just wasting an amount of energy. You also need to turn off all fans. When you are done, you need to turn off all the fans. And I also have some poem for you in French. So l'énergie est la capacité de tout travailler. Nous avons besoin d'énergie dans notre vie de tous les jours. L'énergie pour cuisiner la télévision. Merci. And this is my central idea, lines of inquiry and student question. My central idea is forms and uses of energy, which I just explained. Storage and transformation of energy, which is over here. Whilst the potential energy is going down, it transforms to kinetic energy, goes back to potential energy, and comes back to kinetic energy and goes back. Then sustainable energy practices, how we can preserve, how we can save energy. And my student questions are: why do we need energy? We need energy in our everyday life for using, like for example, using our laptops. We need energy to power it. For example, lights also need electrical energy. How can we store energy? For example, the laptops, cameras, TVs, and rest. And how do we use energy in our everyday life? We can use it for cooking, powering up TVs, etc. How can energy be transformed? For example, as I said again, the kinetic energy transforms into, the potential energy transforms into kinetic energy and goes back to the potential energy. And also the solar also when the sun is shining, it goes into the solar and transforms as a light. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Afimasama Inapiku, and today I'm going to be presenting on light and sound. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is facts on sound. The first thing is sound energy is made by vibrations. The second one is that ears serve as a bridge for sound. The third one is sound travels faster through solids like rocks and steel. And sound waves are referred to as acoustics, and echoes are made when sound bounces off objects. The second thing I'm going to talk about is properties of sound. The first property is pitch. It determines the highness or the lowness of sound. Loudness, it means how loud or soft something is. Frequency, the rate something happens. And timbre, the quality given to sound by curved tones, overtones. The last thing I want to talk about is sound pollution. It is when there's too much noise in a particular area, and some of the effects of sound pollution are hearing loss, high blood pressure, stress, and sleep disturbances. And I advise you to stay away from loud noises because it can destroy your eardrums.
My name is Parkwesi. I'm here to talk about properties of light. So light is the natural agent that stimulates sight, and it also makes things visible. One of the properties is that light can be reflected, observed, or transmitted. Light also travels in a straight line. A shadow is formed when light is blocked by an object. And finally, light travels very fast. Light is faster than sound. I'm here to also talk about how the eye works. So if this is your eye, the black part is the pupil, the blue part is the iris, and the white part is the cornea. This is the real image, and this is your eye. Your eye will see the image upside down, but then your brain will send some special waves for you to see the image properly.
Thank you, Parkwesi, for your presentation on properties of light and how the eye works. Now, I'm going to be talking about facts on light. Light is a kind of energy that can move in waves. The speed of light is exactly 299,721 kilometers. Red, green, and blue are the primary colors of light. Light travels slower through things like glass, water, and air. And light travels faster than sound. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is what will happen if the sun moved away or closer. If the sun moved away, temperatures will drop. The world will be totally dark. If the sun moves closer, temperatures will rise and all the ice glaciers will melt. And last but not least, my central idea and my lines of inquiry. Light and sound as an important resource in life. Properties of light and sound. The importance of light and sound on Earth cycles, and my central idea is knowing the properties of light and sound. Now I'm going to explain to you my models. As you can see, this is a house powered by solar panels. You can get light from many different sources like solar energy and wind. This solar panel absorbs the energy from the sun and powers up the house so that it can produce light. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is light travels in a straight line, as we saw in the properties of light. If you don't put it properly, it will not show on the black surface. So if you put it properly, it can show clearly that it's a heart. Since there's a heart shape here, another one here, and another one here, it reflects as a heart shape. And this is a periscope. You can use it to see around corners. And my assistant Parkwesi is going to help me by shining light. L-I-G-H-T, light. Now my reflection. It was a little challenging for me to work with another person, but I found a way to work it out, and that's my social skills. Usually when I research for my information, I just look at the summary instead of like the site. But now I look at the full information so that I can get more knowledge from it, so that my process will be good and have proper information. My thinking skills help me to understand my research, my works, and for me to make good posters. And for all my posters to have good information, and for me to figure out how I can use my posters and my student questions to make posters to fill my space. Thank you.
us from the sun's rays. Please don't deplete it and change your ways. So stop pollution, so stop pollution. Who's with me? Let's save the earth. Scientific innovation, scientific innovation, scientific innovations, changing every day. Scientific innovations, scientific innovations, scientific innovations, changing our lives.
Life is an energy source we need. Let's use it wisely. This is something we please. Sound is a wave, it travels through the air. Be careful of loud noises, it hurts your ears.
Pulley, pulley, that pulls heavy stuff. Screw, screw, makes things start to lose. Wheel and axle, we find on our cars. Wedge, wedge, casting into pieces. I'm talking about the simple machines. They make my life easier. 7 as the base of the complex machines. Oh yeah, these are some simple machines. Scientific innovation, scientific innovation, scientific innovations, changing every day. Scientific innovation, scientific innovations, scientific innovations, changing our lives.
Yeah, let me tell you how it is. Water, air, they help the world. We use them all in different ways. We breathe air, we drink water. They'll save the earth, stop this pollution. Fish are dying, so the people. Stop this, bruv, this ain't no joke. Stop this ain't no joke.
Light, sound, mechanical.
Energy.
Tema, electrical, chemical.
Energy.
Energy loss cannot be gained. Preserve energy again and again. The low exams of energy. Change from one form to another. Kinetic to electrical.
Energy.
Solar to light.
The internet is changing every day. Computers, phones, technology, they can change your lives for better. On the other hand, technology has its downside. It can be so addictive, so you better watch out.
Oh, it's matter. Everything, the universe is made out of it. We got gases, liquids and solids. These are the states of matter. Oh, it's matter. Everything, the universe is made out of it. We got gases, liquids and solids. These are the states of matter. Scientific innovation, scientific innovation, scientific innovations, changing every day. Scientific innovation, scientific innovations, scientific innovations, changing our lives.
Hi, my name is Oforiwa. Today I'm here to talk about simple machines and machines. Please enjoy my presentation. My central idea: evolution of machines has brought change to our life. My lines of inquiry are: how machines have made our lives better, simple machines and everyday use, machines and productivity. These are some my reflection, the 8-year skills and also the learner profile attributes I know are used throughout the weeks. Some learner profile skills I use are my thinking skills, self-management skills, research skills, and communication skills. My research skills because I was researching about my central idea and lines of inquiry so that I can understand more about it to make posters. My thinking skills because sometimes when I search on the internet I don't find the exact information I want, so then I go to other sites and piece out my information together. my communication skills, because I was able to talk to my mentor about my ideas and she was able to make my ideas better too. And my self-management skills, I was able to do my stuff on time, complete all my tasks on time, and also be able to do the right things at the time. And also some learner profile attributes I used are being principled, thinkers, and also an inquirer. I was an inquirer because I researched to understand more about my central idea. I was a thinker because when I don't understand something, I can ask my mentor for to explain it more. And also I was principled because I was able to do my tasks at the right time. Please invite my my partner Adrian to come and talk about the simple machines we have.
Hello, my name is Adrian and I'm here to present on simple machines and productivity. But first of all, what are simple machines? Simple machines are mechanical devices which make our work easier. Some examples of the simple machines are the screws, levers, inclined plane, wheel and axle, wedge and pulley. A screw is a short, slender, sharp-pointed metal pin. And this is a lever. It's a simple machine made of a beam and a fulcrum. So this is the effort, the beam and the fulcrum. And an inclined plane is a machine with a sloping surface which is normally used for carrying loads like wardrobes, tables, and those ones. The next one is wheel and axle. A wheel and axle is a lifting machine using a cord which unwinds from a wheel to a cylinder. Next, this is a wedge. A wedge is a simple machine that is used to separate two objects like wood. Another word for a wedge is an axe. Usually you see hunters using them to chop wood into pieces. And the next one is pulley. A pulley is a card which is around a wheel used to lift heavy stuff. Like for example, a well. When you hold the rope, the bucket goes in the water, and after I pull it, it becomes heavy, and you use the string to make it come up so that I can use it. And next, the productivity, meaning less effort, more work. So this is a picture of a camera. It's used to store pictures and videos for us so that I can watch it later, just in case we forget. Here's a washing machine. It washes our clothes for us. Sometimes we feel very tired and all that, so the washing machine just does it for us. Here is a fridge. A fridge preserves our food and beverages. A beverage is a drink like tea, Milo, and all that. And the reason why we need fridges is because if we don't have one, our food will get spoiled, then we'll have to buy more, which can waste our money. But when we have a fridge, it just preserves our food, keeps our food cold, so that as soon as you take it out, as soon as you take our food out of the fridge, it's cold and we just need to warm it. Okay. The next one is a microwave. A microwave heats our food for us, like chicken, bread, and all those ones. It's just like a fridge, but this one doesn't preserve food, but it heats our food for us so that we can eat it. Machines have increased our human productivity, meaning that they make our life easier, and we don't have to stress and put all our effort into doing all this stuff. Let me invite my other my partner again, Oforiwa.
As my partner Adrian said, machines make our lives easier and we use them every day. But have you ever wondered how machines work? Well, I'll tell you something. Some machines use gears. A gear is a rotating machine part having cut teeth. There are different types of gears. We have the big ones and the small ones. We have the ones that like work extremely fast and the ones that work slow. All right, so you know gears can't work alone. Gears never work alone, or else they actually don't bring power or force at all. But when gears, we have one or two or more than one or two, they bring a lot of power and force so that the machine can actually work. So now we move on to mathematics of gears. We can calculate gears by using ratios, division and multiplication. We can calculate gears in all those three ways, but mainly ratios, because division and multiplication are supposed to be like used in calculating the ratio of a gear. Right here we have an example of the gear being explained. We have the driver gear and the driven gear. The driver gear is the one that has a lot of teeth, and the one that spins so that the driven gear works. You should also know that a gear can't work, you already know a gear can't work alone. So like when the driver gear is spinning the driven gear, it makes both of them work together. For example, this is the driver gear and this is the driven gear. If the driver gear spins and it moves the driven gear, and you should also know that if the driver gear moves clockwise, the driven gear will move anti-clockwise. All right, now we move on to the evolution of phones. I'm not sure you guys know, but you might also think that, okay, right, the first phone ever made was the iPhone 12, you know, let's brag. No, that doesn't work like that. The first phone ever made was made by Alexander Graham Bell. He made the first phone, and it was only used to communicate with his assistant, not anyone else. So that phone was made in 1876. In 1877, in July, the Bell telephone company was made. So that phone that company helps you communicate with your friends and all of that stuff. The first phone, this was the first phone with the ability to dial numbers and be able to call. But yeah, and in 1925, this phone was known as the first version of the rotary telephone. In 1960 in Sweden, we have the first automatic mobile phone system for cars. So you can be in your car and then you just pick it up like this and like press that button so that you can receive the call and answer it. In 1970, this was the first phone video phone created. It was created by the A&T brothers. In 1980, this was the first mobile phone created, and in 1989, this was the first flip phone we ever had in the world. In 1994, this phone was created to be the first smartphone with a touch screen. And then in 2002, we had this phone with this was the first phone with the camera inbuilt. In 2008, in 2006, we have the first BlackBerry phone. They called it the BlackBerry because it was black. In 2007, we created the first iPhone. It was created by Steve Jobs and Apple, the Apple brand. In 2008, we have the first Android phone, and that was also the first phone to use the Google operating system. In 2015, we had the projector phone, but that phone has not yet been released. It was just a test. In 2020, we had the LG Flutter. It was used it has like a future to be part of the movie called Blockbuster. and in 2025 that's a future phone, and people are predicting it might happen. And same as the one in 2030 is also a future phone that people are also predicting it might happen. And also, before I forget, I have a poem in French which is very short. Okay. Des machines simples notre travail. Nous avons 6 machines simples. Comme une poulie, une roue, un axe, une levier, une vis, and une plénière. These are some models of simple machines. This is a screw, a wedge, a pulley, and a pulley has a wheel and axle over here, and then a cord around it. And this saw is also a type of pulley, because when you go to wells, you see them using a pulley often with the rope and the buckets, and then they pull it out so that you can get your water. A screw is used to join parts together, different parts of machines together. Like for example, a generator. The screw, you can find screws everywhere and on any machine. Even the desk you use, you find a screw on it, or the chair you use. A wedge is used to split things into 2. You use wedges at home to cut your food stuff, and also if you're farming, to cut the wood.
And here is an inclined plane and a helicopter that I made. But first of all, what's an inclined plane? An inclined plane, also known as a ramp, is a machine with a sloping surface, which is normally used for carrying heavy loads like wardrobes, boats, trucks, and cars. So I made this pulley to demonstrate what the inclined plane is used for. So as I pull this down, the car goes up, but then when I release it, it goes down. So that's what an inclined plane is used for. Now let's move on to the helicopter. You may think that a helicopter is not a simple machine. Well, it's not, but it's a complex machine. It's a machine that has rotor blades and all that. That helps it fly. That helps it go up and down. So this is the spinning wheel, also known as the rotor. It's attached to the blades, the rotor blades, so that they can move. But without the rotors, it wouldn't be able to move. It would just be there, and the things would be on the ground. So thanks to this, now we can travel anywhere, but it will be slow. But although there are airplanes and all those ones, this one is safe because it can land on the ground safely without occupying a lot of space. But an airplane will have to speed will have to run very fast on the ground so that it can land. But for the helicopter, it can just go down and up, so there's no need for you to find a large amount of space.
Okay, we should use machines really wisely so that they won't pollute the earth and cause global warming. Machines can be really helpful to our life, but sometimes too they can be really dangerous. So I advise you to use machines really well. Thank you.
Hello parents, my name is Adeline, and in this presentation I'm going to be talking to you about some various scientific inventions and technology. What are scientific inventions? What is technology? And how has the internet changed over the years? You are going to hear all the answers to those questions in my presentation today. So to begin with, I'm going to take you through my central idea. My central idea is how continuous scientific innovations and discoveries have had both positive and negative impact on people's lives. And my lines of inquiry are positive and negative scientific innovations over time, responsible use of scientific or technological items, effect of scientific advancement on people and the environment. So to begin with, I'm going to talk about how technology affects the environment. When I say technology, you may think of phones, laptops, and tablets. Those are technology, but they're small. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about the technology in factories and how they pollute the environment. Factories help us manufacture things. They create toys and package foodstuffs for us, but they also come with some negative effects. So the technology in factories releases smoke known as toxic gases, which go into the atmosphere and harm the ozone layer, which can cause global warming. Now I've told you about how technology affects the environment. Let's talk about how to save the environment. So when I say save the environment, you don't need to get up and work a lot just to protect the earth from global warming. You can just do it in the comfort in the comfort of your home. How? By planting plants, decreasing the number of deforestation, and trying not to pollute the environment so much. Now I'm done talking about technology and how it affects the environment and how to save it. I'm going to talk to you about some scientific innovations and the positive and negative effect. List satellites. Satellites are simply objects launched into space to orbit the Earth. Currently, there are over more than 1,000 satellites orbiting the Earth in space. Satellites are common, but people don't really know how they benefit us. Satellites actually help us, but we don't know it. Example, if I call you on a phone and if I tell you something, the satellite picks the message and sends it back to you so you can hear what I'm saying. Some positive effects are satellites make our life safer and more suitable. Satellites provide phone communications on planes. Satellites can monitor ocean and wind current, so emergency responders can hear it and organize how to protect ourselves against the incoming ocean and wind current. Some negative effects are satellites are not easy to repair. When satellites get damaged, it takes a while to make them, so it also takes a long time to finish repairing the satellite. And when satellites crash in space, they are known as space junk, which just floats around in space and not having any meaning. And the development of satellites requires higher cost. So after making satellites, if you want to develop it, the cost keeps getting higher because you are trying to improve on the satellite that you made. And sunspots can affect the satellite signal. Now I'm going to move on to computers. The first computer was the ENIAC machine made by John Muchly in 1996. The current computer is the iMac and is designed and built by Apple Incorporated. The first iMac was released in 1998. Computers also have positive and negative effects. Some positive effects are computers enable faster communication. They develop future technological leaders. They help us to work faster and they improve multitasking. Computers are addictive and can hurt our communication skills. So every day you can be on your computer and not talk to anyone. Even though you can be chatting with your friends on Gmail, when you see them, you'll not be able to talk to them well because you are used to using your computer. Computers can cause delays in social and emotional development. Computers can cause physical inactivity and obesity by sitting at one place on your device without getting up.
Now I've talked about computers, I'm going to talk to you about the evolution of some scientific innovations. I'm going to start with cars. Cars are really important in life and help us get to places faster. The first car was the motor wagon, made in 1880 by Carl Benz, followed by the Ford model, the Delahaye convertible, the Chevrolet Corvair, the Pontiac GTO, the Mazda Miata, the Alfa Romeo, the Honda Fit, and the McLaren, which is the current car right today. Now I'm going to talk about the evolution of vaccines. Vaccines are known to cure diseases or outbreaks which can't be easily treated with medicine. So the first vaccine to come out was the tuberculosis vaccine for the tuberculosis disease, which was in 1921, followed by the diphtheria, which was in 1923, then the whooping cough, which was in 1926, the yellow fever, which was in 1935, the typhoid, which was in 1938, the polio, which was in 1952, the anthrax, the measles, the rubella, the meningitis vaccine, the hepatitis A vaccine, the chickenpox vaccine, the Lyme disease vaccine, human papillomavirus, and now coronavirus. The coronavirus vaccine is the vaccine trending because coronavirus has been one of the greatest outbreaks in human history. So scientists and doctors are trying to come up for coronavirus vaccines to save us from the outbreak. Now you have heard about some various scientific inventions and technology. Let's talk about the irresponsible use of technology. So what you see here is a diorama I made on how technology can affect us. Example, having too many gadgets in your home can affect you yourself, and not only you, the people living in the house. You may think you're getting much work done because you're multitasking, but you're also harming your brain. And here you see a model of an abandoned neighborhood. What you see here is a pylon. Pylons close to houses can send radiations to the people living in the houses, and not only the people, the animals around. Now you have heard my presentation on how humans use technology irresponsibly. I want to present to you I want to recite a poem in Mandarin. Jishu. Diku woman de muchin. Diku Jishu. Diku woman de muchin. Woman yingai bao hu iku. Jishu. Woman de muchin. Thank you. Now you have heard my poem in Mandarin. I'm going to present you a presentation on the positive and negative effects of technology. I'm here to talk to you about the pros and cons of technology. So, what I'll be talking about in this presentation is the types of technology, the pros and cons of technology, the conclusions, the sources, and the thank you page. Technology is simply the application of scientific knowledge, which is all the devices you are using are made up of scientific knowledge, also known as artificial intelligence, which are mostly used by robots. Some types of technology are construction, transportation, energy, communication, manufacturing, and bio-related. Some pros of technology are Technology saves time. Technology promotes better communication, which simply means instead of you living your life like doing everything by yourself, technology can save your time and get more work done. And technology improves efficiency for businesses. The cons of technology. Technology reduces jobs. Technology creates health problems. Like if you are on your device for so long, you can get health problems and also mental problems. And technology creates social divides. So people won't mostly communicate with their friends and their family socially. They rather use online communication tools. So as you can see, technology is really useful, but it affects us in many ways. So I advise you to use technology wisely and also make it have a good impact on your life, and not only your life, on other people's lives. These are the sources where I got my information from for this presentation. Now I'm going to show you my reflection and the process I went through to create this presentation. So what you see here is my reflection. When I was creating this poster, this presentation, at first I didn't know what to do because I thought my central idea wasn't that wide. So I went through many challenges to fill up my boards, and I only thought of creating 2 posters because I didn't know what to do. Then I decided to observe how my friends did their presentations and how they got the information. So then I followed that same step, and then I got the information to create this presentation. And also some 8-year skills I gained when I was doing this are research skills. I was able to research and get the right information and cite my sources. And I also got thinking skills. Some learner attributes I exhibited were inquiry. I was able to do research and get the right information and cite my sources for my presentation. And I was a risk seeker. I tried to do things that I've never done before, even if the outcome will not be amusing. And thinker. I was able to think and be creative and get some new ideas and some work done. Thank you so much, parents, for listening to my presentation on scientific inventions. Let's save the earth. Thank you.
My name is Ewan Servo, and today I will be talking about matter and many more. As I said, I will be talking about matter and also the laws of nature. What is matter? Matter is anything that takes space and has mass or volume. There are 3 main states of matter, with solids, liquids, and gases being them. Matter is everywhere, and it exists throughout the entire universe. Matter when you apply energy to matter, it turns into a different state, like an ice cube turning into water. And there are more than 3 states of matter, and one of them is plasma. To get plasma, you have to heat up the molecules of gas, and this process is called ionization. Matter can also turn back into its previous state, and and like a solid turn into, like a liquid turn into a solid. This is called solidification or freezing, and you need to apply cold temperatures to matter to a liquid before it turns into a solid. And the same goes for gases. This term is called condensation. Now, some solids too, they don't turn into liquids when you apply heat to them. Instead, they just turn into gas. One of these solids is dry ice, and the way this happens is called sublimation. Now let's talk about some of the laws of nature. There are many laws of nature, but today I'm just going to talk about two of them. These are the laws of gravitation and also the laws of motion. The laws of gravitation say that objects attract smaller objects. The bigger an object is, the stronger its pull is. The force that allows the object to attract smaller objects is called gravity. This is what allows us to stand on the ground, and this is also why we don't float into the air. Now, there's also the laws of motion. The first law of motion says that a body at rest will stay at rest unless a force is acted upon it, and a body in motion will stay in motion unless another force is acted upon it. The second law of motion says that acting upon an object is equal to the mass of that object times its acceleration, which is F equals m times a, which is mass times acceleration. The third law is that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if you apply a force to it, then if two forces come together, then they will both go away. That's necessarily what it's talking about. Now, matter can also be used to power things like this. The gases in this power plant are able to power this house. The gases move a turbine, which then generates electricity. Then it goes to the house, which is simple. And this also works for dams. This is called hydroelectric power. They use water to power our homes and all of the appliances and gadgets that we use. And the water moves the turbines again, which powers a generator, and all of the energy goes to our homes. And matter is also used to power electronics and devices. The way this happens is like this. The water moves the turbine, which then powers the generator, and the electricity goes to our houses. And during the dry season, the power goes down because the water here is evaporating. which makes the pressure lower, and it turns the turbine much more slower, and that's why this biomass power plant is here. If you are able to use other sources of energy, then we wouldn't get power outages as often. And it's also a renewable source of energy, so it wouldn't end up harming the environment. Here's a graph showing the hydropower generation and the water level over the years. As you can see, the water level has been going down due to climate change and other things, which also lowers the hydropower generation. and that's why the thermal power generation is there, so that it can help sustain us, so that we wouldn't keep on running out of energy. and all of the IB learner profiles I was able to achieve was open-minded. I listened to the ideas of my peers and used it to make my presentation better. I did research on my topic to get more information on it before I started this presentation. Knowledgeable, I used the information that I learned from research and used it to make posters and models to help support my presentation. Thinking skills. I was creative and I was able to use the information I had gathered to make models to support all of the things I was saying. And communication skills. I exchanged information with my mentor so that I would be able to progress and my presentation would be much more better. Research skills. I used the information I had ethically and I was able to come out with something good. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Akuya and today I'm presenting on water and air, also Shui and Kongqi. So for my central idea, it's about understanding the properties of air and water and how we should use them in better ways, and the lines of inquiry about the evidence of existence of air and water, what air and water do and how can we use it better, and our role in reducing air and water pollution. Some of my student questions were, how does water travel around the earth? How can air and water be used usefully? And how can we prove the existence of air? So first, I'm going to be talking about a wind turbine. A wind turbine is a device that is usually in a big field full of grass and lots of wind turbines, and they are powered by the wind and they give electricity to some houses, so then the houses can function normally. So this is my wind turbine. And it spins like this, and it will power the electricity to houses, and then fans will be going and stuff like that. If a wind turbine is too strong of a wind for the wind turbine will automatically stop by itself. Or if like one of these blades come off, the people in the that work for the wind turbine company will go up the elevator inside of the wind turbine and fix the wind turbine. Next, I'm going to be talking about the properties of air and water. So first is air takes up space. So when you're blowing a balloon or something like that, it will take up lots of space and it will blow it up so it will become big. Like this. And air has a mass. When it's like big and stuff, it's obviously going to be heavier than a balloon with no air, because air is heavy but it's also invisible. Next, air can be affected by heat. So if you've ever seen a hot air balloon, it's powered by heat and air. So the heat is forcing the air to move and the hot air balloon will go up. Air has pressure. So for example, you've got this balloon, and if I drop it like this,
it will move around because the air is trying to escape, but it can't really escape, so it'll find different ways to escape. And next, effect of air pollution. So first one, it can cause lung cancer because gases from cars and all that stuff can affect your lungs and how you breathe. It can also give you asthma and birth defects, which is part of asthma, and climate changing, which is very bad for you and the environment. Next is air pollution. I made another poster on air pollution and a drawing on air pollution. Air pollution is very bad for the environment and the earth, as I said before. On this picture, you can clearly see in the pollution part, there are people smoking, factory smoking, and all that stuff. And the earth is sad, kind of. And then here is cars letting out gas from their car because they either got the wrong petrol or they're going too fast. So next I'm going to be talking about water. So first I'll talk about the water cycle. So the water cycle is very important. It's a way for water to travel all around the earth. So first, the water is collected from rivers or oceans, or just when you leave water outside, and then it evaporates is when the sun shines high, but like shines really brightly, and the sun shines on the water, and the water will come up in little particles that you won't be able to see. And then condensation, it goes into the clouds, and the clouds will eventually get full. And then precipitation is when the water comes out of the clouds because the clouds are too heavy to carry the water. And then it goes over and over again. And then the Earth's water. 3% of the Earth has fresh water, and then 97% of the Earth is covered with salty water, which is also polluted water, which is very bad for the environment. So if at our everyday houses, people have been figuring different ways to filter water so then we will be able to drink it. So I made a water filter. At the bottom it has cotton and then natural sand, pebbles or rocks, and then a clear plastic paper so then the water can come through. And you just put some dirty water inside like this, and then it will flow out through and become clean water because of all of the like cleaning products, natural cleaning products. Yes. Next, this is a poster about how dirty water or water pollution can always come back to us and we end up drinking it, but it's filtered. So in Ghana, there's galamsey, which is like when miners or stuff, people like that, they be mining, and the dirty water from when they wash off the gold, it creates lots of dirty rivers and dirty oceans. I created a video on the galamsey in Ghana. Please enjoy. I hope you enjoyed that video. It was basically saying that everything we do always comes back to us. Okay, so for this exhibition, the learner profiles I thought I used was knowledgeable, because I was able to find lots of information and have a good understanding about what I'm saying and stuff like that. And then I used risk taker, because I use lots of risks to make all of this stuff, and I was finding new ways to make lots of this stuff. And then I was balanced, because I was able to do my work in time with my partner, and we were able to figure out the ways to do my work. And then the ATL skills I used was researching skills, because I was able to find lots of information, and thinker, because I was able to think through what I was doing. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed my part of this exhibition.
We are privileged to have an experienced IB educator as our guest speaker for this ceremony. Please allow me to welcome Ms. Nadia Jan Mohammed, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya.
Jambo, greetings from Kenya. It is a great honor for me to be with you on this very significant milestone in every PYP student's learning journey. My name is Nadia Jan Mohammed, and I'm the grade 5 teacher and science coordinator at the Aga Khan Academy, Nairobi Junior School. I've had several opportunities to work with the grade 5 students in the PYP exhibition in the capacities of a homeroom teacher, a deputy head teacher, and a PYP coordinator. In my 7 years of facilitating the PYP exhibition, every year has been unique and has brought out the talents, personalities, and abilities of the students. I'm sure that the PYP exhibition, hosted by the grade 5 students at Tema International School, will be as dynamic, thought-provoking, and significant as the other exhibitions that I have witnessed. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to address such a talented gathering of PYP students who have worked tirelessly over the past few months following their passions and interests. You have made us all proud today as we celebrate the learning that has taken place and the impact that you're going to make in your own lives or in your communities through your in-depth collaborative research and action that you have decided to take. Your inquiries under the theme, How the World Works, demonstrates immense creativity, innovation, critical thinking skills, and problem-solving skills. While I recognize the efforts that the students have put into this, I also know that there are other people in the background who have been a support system for the students throughout this PYP exhibition journey. The parents, teachers, members of the community, and of course, the school leadership team. I'm confident that you have in your own special way mentored, inspired, and supported our young researchers and future scientists. Students, I would like to leave you with these parting words as you move to the next phase of your academic journey. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. By Christian D. Larson. Thank you. Asanteni.
The PYP exhibition is a culminating project for the grade 6s or the final classes at the PYP level. It has been an amazing time for our learners to be able to exercise their learning through their projects, and what we have observed has been a great thing. I'm very sure that whatever they have gained from this learning has been of great, immense importance to them, and as they move on, they are moving on with great information and knowledge. We do want to appreciate all who have helped in one way or the other to be able to guide them to reach where they have reached. At this time, I want to pass a vote of thanks to the teachers, the mentors, the homeroom teacher, Mr. Xavier, the parents who have provided the different resources, the school management who have been there with us through all the journey, and most importantly, the students who have worked tirelessly to get the projects out. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being part of the exhibition. We hope you enjoyed it. See you later.